So we were looking at how to group data. So we can just, whichever attribute we want to group by, you click and drag it all the way to the left to a higher level table. And then you can add attributes to do your calculations. So in one, we just, we did not filter the data. We applied the formula across all the rows. In another one, we filtered the data. In the third one, I may not have formula directly in to be selected from there. So let us say I called this as critical need, which is the difference of the max minus the resource poor max. And so if the value of the critical need is closer to 0, more dire the need for mental health providers in that state. So I'm going to introduce yet another column to calculate this. So go ahead and click on the plus again. It will add one more attribute and rename that. I think I called this critical need. And again, click on the formula, edit formula. Now, instead of selecting any of these, I can type it in. I have the maximum average. So I have that. So I select that minus the resource poor max. So I have that listed here. So these are the attributes we added. So I can select from that as well. Resource poor max. So this I can type in my own formula as well. It doesn't always have to be what I select from here. And apply. And so the closer to 0, we know that it is in dire need, and farther away from 0, it is not as bad. This is our interpretation for the moment. And notice these columns are colored yellow, meaning they are columns calculated with the help of a formula. So if there is a column calculated with a formula, you will not be able to move that column to a higher level table like that. Okay, so I cannot, well, in this case it did, but it just did max. So let's bring that back here. From this table, it doesn't let me. So in that case, if I want to remove the formula, you have the option of deleting the formula and just keeping the values. If I select this, then you can see that the color of the column changed back to white. So now if I drag this to the left, you will see that I do have all the distinct values. Earlier, it chose the max of that entire thing. Now I have all of the distinct values. So you have those options. Now, if I don't need an attribute, if I don't need the critical need column, I can go click on the column name and delete the attribute. Then that attribute will go away. Now, when you're deleting, be careful that you don't delete part of the original data because it doesn't give you a warning. So in this case, I'm going to now restore the table back to a single level table to the original data set. So I'm going to delete the 2 columns we added. And then, so say I'll delete this as well. And let's delete this. Okay. So now if I accidentally delete the state column, state information, then I lose it from my data. So you have to be careful. So here I'm going to undo. If I accidentally happen to do that, I'm going to undo before I do anything else. And it brought back the state. Now I can move the state back into the lower level table or the child level table. And now it is back to my original data set.